Hi, welcome to my channel. It's Glady. Hi, how you doing today? Today we're doing part two of the Let's Build It collab that I did prior. All right, we built this right here a folio. It's for storage for your ephemera and supplies, and it is very handy, and this one is very creative. So let's get to creating it, and then I'll show you. Here is the sample. Remember what I showed you in part one? I made it all white. So I created it like this, right, with some paper beads that I had and some regular beads, and I decorated it all up with some special papers and stuff and beads. And I also put this little picture there, those corner rounds. I also did inside of the inside pocket, I decorated that. I made this little ruler for it, and it's very comforting because it's cottage core, vintage cottage core. Okay, I did all these little pockets and stuff, decorated them, also put some beading in the back, and did the paper and stuff, and did the corners. And then I put this nameplate here for whatever you want to put in there. You can do that. Now, this came out great, awesome, but I don't like the durability. You see how I can bend that page? I want this to hold storage, and I want it to be firmer. So I said, let me change the build a little bit. So you're going to see me change a little bit the build. And the person who has created this, I'm going to put them down below. Her name is May, and her channel is May Made It. All right, and she'll give you in there like the proper sizing for everything. And I followed exactly that, but I changed it and made it my own. So here, I'm going to demonstrate what I did to change it to make this a better built, stronger, not so weak. Okay, because this one's kind of weak with the regular cardstock. Okay, so this is the regular cardstock, the first piece. Remember, it was the 8x11, and then we did the scoring at 6.75, right? And I had some cracking. Remember that? Okay, so I, to avoid that, I got some poster paper. Okay, and she used a heavier cardstock, but I looked into the price of it. It's called Nano, and it's like $20 for like 50 pages or something like that. That is not budget friendly at all for me. So I took poster paper instead, excuse me, that I have from Dollar Tree. And I have poster paper from everywhere, from Dollar Tree, from Hobby Lobby, that I bought a really big pack and stuff. So I had more than plenty. So I figured I'm gonna cut the inside part. Okay, and you see tape there. That tape is there because when I was cutting it, I sliced into it a little bit, and just so I don't have any issues or problems, I took and I taped it. Then here I take and glue them together with my Bear glue, because you know Bear glue. Bear glue is super glue and like hot glue together in one. It dries really quick, really fast, and it gives you the durability and lifespan as like a super glue would. Okay, so then I fold it, and you see how sturdy that is. So I take the second piece and do the same exact thing. All right, Then this is the piece that's 8.5 by 5 with the score lines of 1.75 and 3.75. Okay, and I glue them in, but you notice how I didn't glue the bend, because I don't want any glue to get in there interfering. Now if it gets in there after I smooth it out, fine, but I didn't want to put excess glue in there because I want it to be able to fold like that. So that's why I glue it in sections like this in between the folds, and then I fold it and make sure I line everything up. Anything that's out of line, and usually it would be my poster paper. The cut lines weren't that great, but that's okay. I got it all squared off, cleaned it up, and then I'm going to ink the edges of everything. You may not see this, but you may see them. So just in case, because what I'm going to do is I'm inking it as dark as possible because I don't want to see any of the white, because we're going to cover this with burlap, and you're going to see here in a few how I do that too, and stuff. So because you don't, burlap is very hard to work with sometimes, and it's really messy. I was so itchy afterwards. Oh my goodness, you should have seen. All right, so now we're gonna glue together our folio. Okay, the cover. This is gonna be the cover part. Okay, and I ink it all, even the bend, because just in case if you see it when I do bend it in any way, you won't be able to see the white. You'll only see the inking, okay, which will blend together with the burlap. All right, that's why I inked it all. I mean, it's not necessary. If you don't mind seeing the white, then that's fine. Then don't ink it, okay? But it's my preference to do that. Okay, so here I line up everything perfectly and I do my build. You see how this build, and I'm showing you the difference, how that one is warped and mine isn't. See, that's why I put the poster paper. Now here I'm going to take the burlap. These are cut at 8.5 by 11. So I'm matching the ends up, lining them up and pinching them so they don't move, because burlap moves around a lot, and especially when you're stretching it. You seen how I stretched it and it got like bigger and longer? Yeah, so that's why I said I say to clip it like this before you cut it. So, and then I'm taking my pinking shear so it's not getting all over the place, you know, the little strings and everything, just to avoid all that fraying that the other pieces are doing. Okay, and then I have two pieces here. All right, I'm going to do the same thing with the other piece. Okay, because you know the cover, I'm going to take my hot glue gun, and I changed glue guns because this Dollar Tree one is not happening. So I take that piece that is that you seen how I just ripped it off. So I'm gonna change glue guns here in a minute, and I rub down the hot glue and make it smooth so it's not lumpy at all while it's hot. Okay, that's why I use that spatula, so you make sure you have something that you can rub it down and make it smooth. See how it's not lumpy or anything, and you don't see the lumps of the glue that I did. Okay, it gives a nice smooth coverage, and guess what, you're giving it more strength, because by adding the glue it gives that plastic also protection, all right, of the glue, and makes it thicker. That's why I wanted to use my glue gun instead of anything else. So I'm gonna rub it down and put that piece on. Then I'm gonna put this panel piece on the same way I did that one, okay? Then I had the centerpiece. This was also a burlap piece that had lace on it. It came like that. They sell it at Walmart. They also sell it at Hobby Lobby. I've been having this for years. I couldn't tell you how much it costs. Now, you notice how I'm avoiding not putting any glue in the fold creases, only in the square blocks, because I don't want it to interfere with my fold. Okay, if it seeps in there after I smooth everything out, fine, because then it's just a little thin, amount. But there, I fold it and put the burlap, and then I'm going to do the same thing in the inside, but a little bit different. Okay, you're going to see that here in a few minutes. Once I fix this little corner, I open it up, and I'm going to do the same thing. Take that burlap. Now I'm turning that piece of burlap the other way, okay, but still using it. Now we have this. All right, we're going to do the gluing of the poster paper the same way that I did before, okay? Except I try not to put glue, like I said, in the crease lines too much, okay? And here I'm using my art, not the art glitter glue, the Bear glue, okay, to glue that together. Because remember what I told you about that Bear glue. It's like the super glue and hot glue all in one, because it dries immediately, like right away. Like, you better be quick, because once it's down, it's stuck. And Joanna turned me on from Joanna DIY's Life. She's the one that turned me on to that. Now here, this little finger knife, I take and I trim all the excess trimming I had. Okay, and sorry that my frizzy hair is getting in the way there. My hair was all over the place because I have a fan right behind me, and it's what keeps me cool. Now here, you notice how I did that L shape like that? Don't do it like that. I had to end up making a whole other piece, because that little, remember the piece that we're supposed to save? It's supposed to be the one in front of that piece that I cut there. So I did a T instead of an L, okay? And so I had to cut this piece over again. So that's the wrong cut. Instead of leaving that little piece there where I'm cutting right now, it should have been the top one, the top section that's a 1/2 inch that you save, okay? So just be mindful of that, all right? Because I had to do that over again. And I show you that in the last one that I did. Now here, I'm doing the B part of this fold. Remember, we cut down 2.5 inches. So I cut that. Then you angle it to the first point. Remember that. All right. And that's all. If you want to see this more thoroughly, just watch my first video, and you'll see everything exactly how it's supposed to be cut and folded. Here I'm speeding it up because I don't want to repeat what I did in the first video over again to you guys, okay? So there, I take it and I glue it down, and then I pinch it, because since it's a lot thicker, it wants to pop right back up again. So I pinch it so it stays there until it gets dry, okay? And then that's when I started doing the folds, and I realized I did the folds wrong. So there it is, the proper, I did all the pieces, I did all the folds, I glued all the poster paper to every single one of them. Now I'm inking them, and the reason why I'm inking them only on the edges like that is because this you are gonna see. Okay, and I don't want to put burlap in there because, excuse me, I don't want to interrupt the folds, and it'll make it look like it's paper. Okay, so I ink it so it blends in nicely. Okay, so now I'm gonna take the burlap. I cut burlap pieces to the size of every one of these pockets. Then I take the hot glue just like I did with the cover, and I add it on and smooth it out just like that. You see that? And you see how you don't see the glue bubbles and lumps? You won't, because if you smooth it out while it's still hot, okay, it's just gonna smooth out and pan out, okay, and mix all together. And I make sure I secure my ends really well, okay. And then I go and I do this a section at a time because hot glue dries really fast. So you want to do that. So I take the spatula, smooth that out. Notice how it's not lumpy. You don't see the lumps. You know those squiggly lines that I'm making right there? That all goes away because I smooth it all out. And you just keep doing that with the spatula and you will not see excuse me, you will not see those lumps. All right. Then after I'm done doing that, I clean my spatula up, of course, and then I start with the regular scissors. And I'm like, wait, let me do it with my pinking shears to avoid all this burlap shredding. Because you see that mess on my desk? Oh my goodness. I have to, like every piece that I work with, I have to clean it up because that's what you have, a pile of that. So then I do that to all my other pockets. After I do that, then I get the pictures that I want to put in front. And I trim them down with my fancy little scissors that I have, all right, to make it fit. And I round off the bottom corners because I don't want it to be blunt square, all right. So I do that to the first two pieces that I'm going to be using here in the front pocket. See, so it slides in. Then I take this and I cut these out that they're for the other pockets, okay? And at first you don't see a lot of this, but you'll see it later on. So I do show you that I'm going to be cutting them, and they're all different sizes, so you have to measure your pockets out, okay? And make sure that you trim them down to the exact size. You don't have to use these special scissors. You can have it blunt if you want to. This is my preference. It's up to you how you want to make your pockets decorated. You don't probably have to do this. You could probably do fabric or lace or ribbon or other printouts. I mean, it's up to you how you want to decorate yours. I'm only here to inspire you by showing you what I did. So this one, I took it, and this is going to be my top edge. So I round that off equally. Then I ink all the edges, just like that. And I use the vintage photo to ink it. That's what I've been using. And then I take the matte Mod Podge, okay? And I cover a nice coating, not very thin, but not thick either, because you don't want it to get your ink smeared. And the reason why I'm doing this is because sometimes we're drinking, or you see how I have a container there to my right? That's water. And I'm constantly drinking water or coffee, one or the two, okay? And I have had spills, droppings, and stuff, and it messes up my pictures. So this way it doesn't mess up my pictures, okay? I could just wipe it right off. And there you go. I glue them on, and that's how you want to glue them, at the top part of every pocket. All right, so now I'm doing the top edge of that pocket, of the V pocket, and I'm gonna glue that down with bare glue, okay? Yep, bare glue has become my buddy, because I don't like the runniness and how thin the art glitter glue is. I use it, don't get me wrong, I use it, but not for stuff like this. Now here, I used the bear glue, and as good as the bear glue is, it didn't want to stick to the burlap here. Okay, I had a little bit of issues, and I was trying to see if I could clamp it down. It wasn't my clamps that I had weren't long enough, and I didn't have my big ones. Tried putting a bottle, it wouldn't work. So guess what came to the rescue? Hot glue gun. So I glue the rest of the pockets with the hot glue gun, and it instantly glued on and was no problem. So I take the other side, and you see what I say about the bleeding? You see that brown circle? That was bleeding once when I put the Mod Podge on it. It bled through to the other side. Didn't bleed through the picture, but it bled through the other side. So there I take my hot glue gun, and I glue down the biggest pocket. And yeah, it looks like it's being covered, but you'll see later that you'll be able to see it once I trim everything down, okay? Then I put the next biggest pocket, and you line it up to the bottom, okay? Not the top, the bottom. They have to line up perfectly at the bottom, okay? And I just go gluing them down and lining them up, see? And you glue it down to line up to the bottom. And then you have your steps, and there I squeeze them together real good to make sure that they're spongy still. And then I'm going to take and fray all the burlap and trim all the burlap. I don't show you this. I just show you me doing this pocket, and that's it. Okay? Then after I'm done doing that, I take my fun scissors again, and it makes it look like the page is torn, okay, which I like. And I cut all around this evenly and round the edges with my scissors like so. And then I look for placement. I'm not going to put it there. I'm going to put it a little bit further to the left. All right? But I was looking at placement, and when I was doing the strap, see the strap? All right. It was going to cover the picture completely, so I moved the picture over a little bit. This is the back side, so I move it all the way towards the edge of the lace. Then I take my strap, the longest piece goes here, glue down, and then the shorter piece comes up through here. Now, I tried with these magnets. Do not buy this. They're from Walmart, and they do not stick together. They do not. You see how I put them, and they flops right off. Not good. Magnets, garbage. Put them to the side. So I take the Velcro, and I put glue on it, and then flap it over and lay it against the cover, and boom, matched up the lines. And there you go. My strap is done. Here's the front cover. And you see the page, the cover is not lining up and all that. That's just for now, because I didn't close it right. I'm just lining up everything and trying to glue everything down. All right, because I'm coming up to the final reveal. I add some other little touches that it's just gluing stuff down, and I didn't want to waste your time showing you the stuff that I glue down. I just wanted to show you my build. So here's the final reveal, okay? And it is amazing how this came out. So I'm gonna let you listen to what I say. Okay, so here's everything done. I left it pretty plain so I could keep adding on as I go. I made these beads, okay? And those are handmade paper beads, okay? Here's the sign. Nice, and it clips on nice, and it stays. And then when you open it, Here's the pockets. Okay, and in the pocket I made a little notebook. This I made on the side. You see me make plenty of notebooks before. So, and this fits perfectly right in here. No problem. And then we have this here. And there's one pocket that's that deep. It goes down actually 6 inches. This one goes down approximately 5 inches. This one goes down a little bit less, 3.5. And this one goes down to like 1.5. Okay. Alright. Oh, and I made this also. And all I did was just take chipboard and just covered it with these paper like that. I added this little picture here just to add something to the bottom. As you see, I did my whole bunch here, and you could easily flip this in here and have it in here so it's out the way, or you can put it back there, which is nice. And then the back side, I covered it like this. Put the strap wrapped around like that with my name on it, and it closes easily. And that's it. And that's my final reveal. I hope you enjoyed it. It was lots of fun to create this, and you could style it for any season. I'm planning on doing a Christmas one for my Christmas stuff. I'm planning to make a couple of these for all the different seasons, because then I'm going to store like my ephemerions and notebooks and stuff like that that I need. And oh, I forgot to show you this part too. I did this on this side for this one. Okay, so just watch when I'm crafting, because you're gonna see this book. You'll see this book with the stuff that I'm gonna be using, okay? And remember how I said before, you're not gonna be able to see everything. You can see it when you hold it up like this. You can see when you're looking in there to get something. You can see the pictures. See, it's not giving the emptiness inside, so it's nice. I also Mod Podged it, so if you're drinking something and something spills, it's easily wiped off. Okay? And the Velcro works wonderful. I like the Velcro idea better. So much easier. So much easier. Alright? So, thank you. And come again. And I'm glad you enjoyed my project. Okay, so I hope you like that final reveal, and I hope you like the project in total. Here is my next project that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be joining this collaboration paper to project with At Home with Gigi, and she has a guest host, Touched by Time with Nikki. And there they do projects that are done out of paper. So it's going to be more of a crafting kind of thing. But like I said, I have 2 channels, which is Clari's Creations Part 2 and Oddly Bound Journals, okay? And Oddly Bound Journals is going to be the channel that I'm going to be using to do the video for this. And it's going to be decor for my journaling room, okay? So, and it's paper projects. So come and check that out. I want to take out this moment to say thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. It's all free, and it helps my channel grow. So I'll see you on the next one. Stay blessed. Stay safe, and I love you guys. Bye.